back. We've been talking about how everyone is stupid and bad and racist and sexist and will never feel the warmth of the sun again, but I'm doing fine! And as we near the cold, dark end of this video specifically, we have one more question we need to ask. Because sure, we've wondered if America is stupid, if Democrats and liberals are stupid, and if Republicans and MAGA are stupid. But we left out one very special person. Are we stupid? Hey, fuck you, me, who counts as we, who is telling me that we is stupid. I should clarify because I'm also confused. When I say we, I can really only speak for myself in this show. I'm not saying you are stupid, or that our many talented writers are stupid, but I could be saying that if you want me to. Like if that's your kink, I'll do it. But also, if you've aligned with a lot of what we've said here on the Shody, maybe you count in this group. Perhaps you've even drank the official Some More News elixir that grants the powers to hear my thoughts and your thoughts. Available now at our merch store. I guess what I'm really asking here is this. What did the far left or progressives, or just anyone who saw what Trump and the Democrats were barreling toward, what did we do wrong? There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of think pieces, a lot of finger pointing, and as we have said, it's important that we also finger ourselves. So instead of trying to speak for a group of people, I'm just gonna finger myself while you watch. So for starters, the right wing has made a deliberate effort to appeal to non-political casual audiences. As a result, young white men specifically have been infiltrated with far-right ideals and inundated with the sloppy leftovers of grievance-fueled right-wing propagandists. Someone makes a Twitter account about gaming or cool architecture, and then slowly slips in Nazi shit for viewers to absorb without even realizing it. Now, I'm not saying we should be liars or try to manipulate people or pander, but rather we have to start contending with the fact that most Americans aren't politically minded. They don't want to think about it. They're going to hear Trump say for months that he's going to do tariffs, and they're going to wait until after the election to Google what tariffs are. And so while we can't make them or trick them, we could try to meet them on their terms. I don't know, we're a political showdy here. I'm not sure how we specifically can be a political show while also reaching a less political audience, but I'm open to ideas.
No! More! No!
So this episode we're going to talk about, we're just talking about the final question mark. It seems pretty final. I'm blocked on Patreon, so I mean, it doesn't seem like they're interested in hearing anything I have to say. But let's final question mark conversation with Cody. Doors unlocked. Doors closed on my end and unlocked. We'll see how they feel about it. They probably won't think or feel anything about me ever again. So just whatever. But yeah, so we had a meeting. We had a hangout on January the 21st, 24th. No, that's right. 20th, 27th. I think it was the 27th. I don't really remember. We had a hangout on that day, and the conversation was interesting. A lot of people talking about Musk, people talking about DeepSeek. They recommended a movie called Warning Sign, which I still haven't seen. I tried to find it, but I don't want to pay for it. So It's not free on YouTube. Oh well. It's not on Tubi. Oh well. Yeah. Uh, there's a lot of weird things where it was like I couldn't tell if they were talking about me or not. I was in a really funky headspace because like I didn't hear from them from the time that I didn't hear from them from the time that they sent that foam letter until we got to the hangout. And I don't know. It's stupid. It's, I wish that they had been more communicative and been a little more. I wish that they had taken me seriously as a human being. There's not much I can do about that. I can't, I am the water. I can't make them drink. I guess that turned sexual. I didn't mean it in a sexual way. I meant that in a wisdom way. Never mind. Um, I don't know. I was talking about ACN. So they're like MLM. Oh, he's a grifter. And then I'm talking about crypto. And it's like, oh, crypto, he's a grifter. And then I'm talking about AI. It's like, oh, AI, he's stupid. Or I don't know what they were thinking. I wasn't talking about it just to randomly talk about it. I had insight. I had potent, powerful insight on the matter. Insight that's mine. And I thought it was more common than this, but I'm not hearing anyone else say it. I thought someone would have said it years ago, and then I would have just shared it on Facebook or I guess now Blue Sky. Now I'm on Blue Sky. So fuck Facebook. Facebook was really fucking with me. I'm not down with it. I'm tired. I'm sick of doing the show. I'm burned out. I gotta do other stuff with my time. I say that at the end. I recorded at the end first. Anyway, so I don't know. I felt like there's a lot of logical fallacies on both sides, but I also feel like any manipulative tactic I may or may not have been doing, he was doing it on a more professional level. And if you read into that, you should be as scared as I am. I'm not scared. It was scary to have that conversation and realize what kind of person he really is. Um, I mean, I already had a hunch, but like he's so because he's so silky smooth with it. It's so natural to him. It doesn't even sound weird, right? And that's how they get you. But if you know those tactics, do I have those tactics? I guess we could look that up. Let's just skim through that. I guess I can find that later. Or I'll put it up on the screen. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. What was I talking about? The Google Hangout. I was giving them book recommendations the whole time. They were talking about megalomania and narcissism and utilitarianism, and all throughout there was sort of this vibe that perhaps these were digs at me, but I was trying to let it go because I didn't want to be narcissistic. Even if I was a narcissist, I don't want to continue to be a narcissist. Like the end goal would be more empathy or something. I don't know. So to look beyond myself. I mean, see this, see all the people surrounding me right now. This this is this is my company. For this this here is my company for like, well, there's 168 hours in a week, and I think I spend 160 of them isolated. And I don't want to be that isolated anymore, but also I can't handle too much socialization, especially if I can't escape, which has been the recent problem without a car and whatnot. I'm kind of stranded on probation, so they're like legally watching me. It's all like stressful. Um, anyways, meeting utilitarianism. I admit I do that, but it's also like I don't. I've had friends where we just sit around drinking beer and talking about nothing in particular or just playing music, and it's like that's nice and all, but I can't. That doesn't feel like that drains my battery. It feels like socializing. That's part of autism. Socializing feels like work for me. So when I'm out in public and talking to people, it's just a huge drain on my being, and I don't like it. I don't like talking to people. I don't like talking to people at all. I hated this conversation with Cody. I hated talking to him. Really, I hated talking to him. He's not a friendly person. He will say thank you to all your praise. He definitely will accept your praise with grace and dignity. No doubt about it. I'm a utilitarian kind of person. I don't I don't mean it in a malicious way or like I don't know. I've been greedy about it at times. With them, it's urgent. This is an emergency. Trump is in office and he's going to do everything that he's currently doing. And I try to tell them in December, we need to get on this. We need to get on this hard. And they weren't willing to listen to me at the beginning. So like, I don't know how I was going to get a way in. And I didn't, pardon me for feeling impatient. This shit is serious. And we're not moving as quickly as our opposition who is trying to dismantle Social Security right now. And that's my only source of income at the moment. It's terrifying.
Kelly brain dabs. Kelly brain dabs. They look like this. I got this many. They're good for back pain, for insomnia, for just feeling good. They'll help with depression. They'll help with anxiety, kind of. They'll help with all kinds of stuff. Woo! CBD! Alright! Get your dabs today.
Side effects may include decreased appetite, drowsiness, dry mouth, diarrhea, negative interactions with other medications, crankiness and changes in mood, depression, dizziness, hepatotoxicity, psychosis. Talk to your doctor to make sure that CBD is safe for you. This product is intended for human beings over the age of 21. Always dab responsibly, never dab and drive.
And if you love my CBD, you'll love my AI crap on a shirt. Look how freaking cool this is. This actually came out really nice. I like it a lot. Here's my Christmas design. Here's my autumn design. It's pretty awesome. I like them. Check out my stores. They exist. And I was surprised by how comfortable these feel. I was expecting the material to be of poor quality, to be of whatever. I don't know what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be bad. It's soft. It's so feel this. Feel this right here. It's so soft. It's so soft. It makes me feel so warm on a nice autumn day. These are like the perfect pajamas right here. You can't really see what's going. These are like the perfect pajamas right here. These are my everyday. I just wear them all the time. I can't stress enough how much I enjoy these clothes.
Hi! I have a cramp in my face and right rib cage from laughing. I haven't laughed very much lately, and that was fun. Thank you. I have a lot of shit on my mind that may or may not be episode worthy. I'm more of a reader than a writer, but I could try writing if y'all have too much going on already. Mostly, I have some vague need to express myself, and, separately, a desire to see these episodes out there in the world. I have notes and explanations not written here. I had rehearsed stuff to say during the meeting, and I also wasn't sure how the meetings would go. Then I have a link to the Google Docs. The above link is relevant to some more news. The below link is some variation of an introduction as to who I am as a person. Please pardon the AI images. The internet requires an image with each song. And I can't draw worth a fuck. I used to use stock photos. Then I have a link of my own music. Audius.co, Cletus Y. That's me. P.S. Here's a promotional video from ACN as featured in a news segment. I have the link to the ACN video in question. P.P.S. I was going to say that I was ambivalent about which cell phone company I used until Apple took away the aux port. Then I was like Sideshow Bob's baby in Italy. Vendetta! Vendetta! Also, Android is literally better than iPhone by design. First to 5G, more transistors per motherboard. There's a list. PP peeing sus. Back to that 2-page list of episodes I like to see. And speaking of that list, to Cody specifically, before you go on Coursera to witness that list of why Android is better, you need to take that Bitcoin class from Princeton, the one that became obsolete in 2015. I know I just said it's obsolete, but it's still the perfect primer for everyone. Plus, it's free. Hard to beat that. And I show a link to the Coursera class, Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Technologies 2015. Thank you once again for your kind considerations on these matters. Sorry for bothering you further. Here's another ACN video from recently. It's not Anaheim, but yeah, it was exactly like this. It meaning my experience. And then I show a link to a Facebook video. Picture all this in 2007. The iPhone just came out, and DJ T is over there trying to promote landline video phones with the curly Q phone jack and the whole deal, like going back to dial-up. And people were, still are, eating this bullshit up. Here we are, like the next day. Hello. Thanks for joining us last night. For legal reasons, we are unable to look at unsolicited pitches. This is because we may already be producing an idea that is similar to one in your document and could open ourselves up to potential litigation and copyright infringement, even if this is unintentional. Thank you for understanding, and thank you much again for your support and for joining us at the Google Hangout. That hurts me. Still hurts. And me, of course, I'm getting bitter at this point. To whom it may concern, there are nearly 50 pitch suggestions in the linked document. You are definitely going to do some of these already. That's why I added so many notes. The title of this document is Some More News Shows I'd Like to See. So, what kind of monster would I be if you made those episodes, I saw them, and then sued about it? Whether I write these or get paid for them or not, these subjects are things you could have, should have addressed years ago. As a fan of your show since episode 1, possibly a fan of your writing since before Cracked had a video department, I can see that you're slightly off track. Furthermore, copyright law doesn't apply to ideas. I am legally unable to sue you over pitches, such as Herbert Hoover or Roman history, because those search phrases aren't copyrightable. Also, I'm not offering unsolicited pitches. I'm requesting a job or providing feedback for one of your current writers. Pick one. Either way, you would be legally protected. Again, even if you say no to the job aspect, there's no danger in looking at the pitch ideas because you're already doing several of them. This is me telling you that I was aware of that fact before you read the document. This is in writing. All of that being said, y'all weren't aware of ACN and their connection to number 45 before I spoke up in the meeting last night. Therefore, I will keep your form letter response to my earnest suggestions in mind should ACN be mentioned in your shows. Sincerely, Cletus. New message. Copyright law would apply to several of these pitches. Only the ones that have actual titles and descriptions. Less than half of them are like that. New message. On a separate note, I really hope that you take the specific Bitcoin class linked above, Cody specifically, and I hope that you explored my music a little bit, everyone at S&M generally. I most likely won't be able to afford the Patreon subscription next month, so I feel I need to say whatever I gotta say while I still have the privilege of saying it. I use my Hanukkah money for this. If my job interview tomorrow goes well, I might still not continue my subscription because form letters are gross. It's a bummer you guys don't read YouTube comments. That would have saved me a whole lot of money and trouble. Dang, did you guys get fucked over by Cast Media? I've been reading some of the press releases and stuff. Why haven't you done an episode about corporate podcasting? Is it part of an NDA slash non-competition agreement? I wondered about that with the whole EW Scripts thing, because you were able to carry on your own show, but seemed reticent to discuss the particulars. Has Katie ever read Island by Aldous Huxley? If not, I think she might appreciate it. If she has read it before, could she read it again, out loud, to the rest of the staff members? Good morning. Merry Christmas! I assume nobody on your staff celebrates Hanukkah. Forgive me if I'm incorrect. I just finished editing the first edited episode of my new show. It is uploading to YouTube now. Love you guys. Thank you for the inspiration. Sincerely, Cletus. Happy New Year! Next episode has dropped on my new channel. This time, responded to y'all directly, as opposed to a reaction video. You should have bought a squirrel. AI video. They linked to my AI episode. Man, so magnificent. LMAO. It wasn't synced. Had to fix it and then re-render, re-upload. You should have bought 2 squirrels. Updated link. A week later. In Mother Russia, the squirrel buys you. I'm Russian. I can't do a Russian accent. How sad is that? And a link to that episode. And then multiple links. Multiple links to Wormbo pictures. Yesterday, I invested $5 into DeepSeek's cryptocurrency. Today, it is at $41.94. I tried it out, too. I asked it how it might implement MLK's breadbasket strategy, and it gave me my own plan I made in 2015 almost point for point. There's something deeply heartbreaking about being on that call, seeing you and hearing you, being able to actually communicate with you and knowing that you still haven't noticed me. It would be so much easier to help you than to continue doing my own show. I have to be a part of this fight, just like Jason said. I have very strong ideas about how to do it. Whether it's on my own or with you guys isn't relevant. It must be done. Anyway, I'll see you guys next month. Guys in the non-gendered sense. I know you are off track. It matters. Good luck to you. I would prefer to stick around. I intend to attend the next hangout, providing a bibliography for you to peruse like last time. If you want me to stop, I expect a prorated refund. I can use it to renew my Duolingo subscription instead. I think we're at 12 days past the payment date, but I'm not certain. I know you're off track. It matters. Good luck to you. I saw that 45 is doing a bunch of crypto stuff. I would like to further beseech you to take that Princeton class. It is the primary source, aside from the Satoshi white paper. UC Berkeley and others used the Princeton book for the first couple of years before coming out with their own. Writers, producers, researcher. I urge you desperately to please, please, please read The Art of Not Being Governed by James Scott, Jonathan Harris especially. Please don't do injustice to this topic. Please get this one right. Please. Here comes the second message from Some More News. Unfortunately, I think we are going to have to refund you. I do still disagree with many of your claims and basic interpretations regarding the episode, but this is not about us disagreeing or you thinking we were incorrect about something. For one, I made a very simple and respectful request to you to please stop plugging your show, especially on posts that have nothing to do with it, and please stop the aggressive arguments and comments of posts that have nothing to do with the topic. You completely ignored that request and seemed to do it even more. But more importantly, your recent comment yesterday was very intense, aggressive, quite honestly alarming. We appreciate your passion and that you've been a fan of the show for so long, but this dynamic seems unhealthy, and you provided every indication that it will get worse if it continues. It's simply not the kind of behavior we would engage in, and it's not something we need to tolerate. I'm sorry it's come to this, and I truly wish you the best, but I don't think there is any other way forward. Me. I'm not sorry that it has come to this. It is tragic you have fallen so far. Me again. And yes, you are correct that it might get worse. It is fair to refund me. Heed my guidance regarding the cryptocurrency research, or I shall taunt you a second time. Or I shall taunt you a second time. I'm not telling you what to think or how to write. I expect you will still be anti-crypto, possibly more so by the end of it. Please read them. Katie, please read CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving and Island by Aldous Huxley. Cody, take the damn crypto class. Everyone, please, 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 The Art of Not Being Governed, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, Body Keeps Score, Stranger in Strange Land. If you want to see the list for more pointers, it is in my Sour Gripes episode. None of you are prepared for the world we're about to enter into. It matters. I hope you stay safe.
Get ready to fast forward. Here comes commercials.
This episode is brought to you by Subjective Visions Music. Entertaining folks since 2006. Entertaining myself my whole life. Subjective Visions Music. Over 600 songs, custom scales, sample flips, odd time signatures. I'm the only person on earth to make a song in the time signature of 29/11.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, Similar News' demographic is people who used to be the middle class who are now not middle anymore. They're not living the middle class life anymore, and they're white. They're liberal, which I'm liberal. I'm light skinned. So, you know, I've I've lived somewhere in the middle and not. I've lived both sides of it at different times in my life, and I'd like to see the world different and better and happier. Um, um, I try. But they're not really far from the status quo, and anger at the current situation kind of hijacks from the fact that Trump is not separate from the culture, right? He's not separate from politics just because he's breaking up the government, and he's not separate from business even though he doesn't know shit about business. He's part of that old money. He's part of that H.L. Hunt lineage. He's part of that mindset. He comes from that group of people. He's basically like, he was like 20 when Nathaniel Bunker Hunt was like, or I guess when Lamar Hunt did the Chiefs. I don't know, some shit like that. So he's like, you know, that generation. It's not going to stop by wishing it. It's going to be gone if you wait till 2026 midterms. That's too long to wait. So I hope everyone has sort of a plan in place. I would really like to get involved. I'm a powerhouse on your team. I will be, I don't know, I can physically move things. I'm good at certain parts of organization, but someone else is way better at the other parts, so I would coordinate with them, and then they would make the magic happen on that. I can edit, I can do video, anything, music, anything. Um, I don't know. I'm a certified personal trainer. If we're doing military stuff, I'm interested in it. I don't say I'm the most qualified, but whatever I can do to help, I'm willing to learn whole new skills to do that. I've definitely put 10,000 hours towards regenerative farming. I don't know if I'm the best person to talk about that either, but 10,000 hours. Um, my farm, I wouldn't say is open, but I wouldn't mind accepting help from people who want to be down for a cause. But this that kind of shit. Like I don't know. I want to get started. I want to do something real. I don't want to be doing a podcast because it's not time for podcasts. It's time for kicking ass. So I don't know. This is the conversation I had. This is the chat, and I know I fucked up. Like I shouldn't have been talking so much, and I was weird and socially awkward, and that's just me. Um, I, it's called an amygdala hijacking. I couldn't control it. I'm still working on it. I feel like I've had probably 18 therapy sessions, neurofeedback therapy sessions between that first email and now. So that's I feel like a different. I look back on how I was thinking at the time. I'm like, damn, that's weird. I'm embarrassed. I feel embarrassed, but I can't untype those things. Uh, but I'm also I get amygdala hijacked as soon as I think about it. So I don't know. I thought he was. I don't know. I might do some more reaction videos as I get into the editing process. I thought he was just shitty. I thought his whole response to me was in bad faith from his definition of things. So I'm over on the Wikipedia page for bad faith. Bad faith. For other uses, see bad faith disambiguation. Of two minds, to redirects here. For other uses, see of two minds. Not to be confused with heresy. Bad faith is a sustained form of deception which consists of entertaining or pretending to entertain one set of feelings while acting as if influenced by another. It is associated with hypocrisy, breach of contract, affectation, and lip service. It may involve intentional deceit of others or self-deception. Some examples of bad faith include soldiers waving a flag, then firing when their enemy approaches to take prisoners, a company representative who negotiates with union workers while having no intent of compromising, a prosecutor who argues a legal position he knows to be false, an insurer who uses language and reasoning which are deliberately misleading in order to deny a claim. In philosophy, after Jean-Paul Sartre's analysis of the concepts of self-deception and bad faith, the latter concept has been examined in specialized fields as it pertains to self-deception as two semi-independently acting minds within one mind, with one deceiving the other. Bad faith may be viewed in some cases to not involve deception, as in some kinds of hypochondria, with actual physical manifestations. There is a question about the truth or falsity of statements made in bad faith self-deception. For example, the veracity of a hypochondriac making a complaint about their psychosomatic condition. Let's see. Bad faith has been used as a term of art in diverse areas involving feminism, racial supremacism, political negotiation, insurance claims processing, intentionality, ethics, existentialism. I think we covered all that. The one whom the lie is told and the one whom lies are one and the same person, which means that I must know the truth in my capacity as the deceiver, though the truth is hidden from me in my capacity as the one deceived. Thus, in the praxis of bad faith, I must know that truth very precisely, in order to hide it from myself the more carefully, and this not at two different moments of temporality. A person choosing self-deception is the fundamental question about bad faith. What makes self-deception possible? For a liar to successfully deceive the victim, their liar must know that the lie is a falsehood. In order to be successfully deceived, the victim must believe the lie to be true. When a person acts in bad faith, that person is both the liar and the victim of the lie. The contradiction is that a person in bad faith, self-deception, believes something to be true and false at the same time. Okay, so with the trans thing. See, but I actually believe what I was saying. Okay, so I don't think it's a lie. I believe that he said those things. I have video evidence to back myself up. I mean, he has video. You go watch his video. I mean, I saw some of the comments. People disagree with me, but that's all right. Watch me reacting to it. I'm not sitting there like plotting and scheming. I'm listening to him speak and then reacting to his speaking, and then continuing to listen to him speak and continuing to react. When I edited it later, what I mostly did was add all the pictures to back up what I was saying in my reactions and to contradict, to show evidence contradicting what he's saying. Because I thought that he was acting in bad faith during that AI episode. That's like why I really, like, after failing to get their attention with this thing, I wanted to at least be heard, my criticisms to be heard. And the AI episode is perfect for that. I mean, that pretty much just like, man, witness me. Witness me! But no, okay, so my set of feelings. Okay. So I said that they were I said that their trans episode, while hurting trans people, they didn't knowingly do that. So in that sense, what I said was in bad faith. That little pocket there. I mean, isn't that like the white dot and the black yin? Whatever. I don't know. I wasn't doing it with the intention of hurting them or stabbing them in the back. I need them to understand me because it's affected. I need them to understand me because I'm seeing something about themselves that they're not seeing, which I believe is covered here at the end of the bad faith thing. That's like the whole reason I reached out to them to begin with. So hypocrisy, I mean, they're hypocritical in like 5 different ways. We've talked about how they're anti-stock market, but they have stock, or they're owned by, they're very corporate as an organization, and they say they're anti-corporate, and that's okay, but they need to teach that to the audience because it's really relevant right now that you could be a corporation and then do socialist things or work against the establishment. Whatever, you can do that. That's one of the choices. You don't have to just be a cruel, greedy bastard every second you get, every waking minute of every day. You can do fun and interesting and helpful things too. That's the real thing. And the thing that they don't talk about, and I can't wait to do some sort of math on this, is to demonstrate that when you do the right thing, you have happier, healthier people, and happier, healthier people generate more. They're willing to work harder, and they generate more income for everybody. It's really, if you want a dystopian society, you do it the other way, wherever like they did in the '90s. You keep everyone smiling and rocking hard and whatever, keep them high, and then they don't complain. Keep no, but no, like happier workers work better. Well-fed workers work better. You're not saving money by starving people and saving money by cutting off their medication and stuff. This is not, even if you wanted to be a tyrannical dictator, this is not the way to go about it. And um, if you want to be a socialist, then you got to seize the means of production and actually do something. You can't just talk into a camera. Just why I don't want to do this anymore. I gotta go seize. I gotta go seize while it's cheap, and while I still have any kind of resources to draw on before I just look stupid and homeless again, like I did 6 years ago. uh, what we're saying. So, intentional deceit of others or self-deception. See, I definitely didn't have any intentional deceit. Like I really just want people. I want to be heard. I don't think that's unfair. Other people get to say what they think, and people like just agree with them. I don't know. Why not me? Why not? Why don't I get a little? Why can't I get a little attention and praise once in a while? I would. I mean, that would. I'd appreciate that. I might be a kinder, softer, gentler, more friendly person if I don't want like endless yes statements because I hate that too. But like not endless flattery, but like come on, come on, y'all. I worked hard on these. I worked hella hard on these, and I didn't do it for me. I did it. Well, I kind of did it sarcastically, not in bad faith. I don't know. I did it out of love. I did it out as it's a tribute. This is not the greatest show in the world. It's just a tribute. Uh, where was I? So waving a white flag when firing, and then firing when their enemy approaches to take prisoners. You know, I mean, when you listen to the way he talks about it, it's very much like that. Um, it's also very disheartening. Okay, representative who negotiates with union workers with no intent of compromising. Right? Um, like this whole conversation that I'm having with him is like that. He's not gonna watch the episode. There's no point. There's nothing I could say. Not that there's nothing that could be said, but me personally, I wasn't gonna be able to think about it in the moment and be slick with it and deliberately mislead um, in order to deny a claim, which he does a lot during this conversation. Um, argues the legal position he knows to be false. Like anytime he says anything about my show, like I can tell he hasn't seen it. He's not. He didn't block me before. He didn't block me before I got on the Google Hangout. That's how I know he didn't see. If he had seen it, he'd probably be mad and be like, "Oh, this fucker has got to go," and then I would have been gone long before this conversation. Um, but they want to act like I'm not important, and I'm done with people acting like I'm not important. I'm done with it. I'm going to find a way to be important. I'm going to figure it out. It's not this. It's fine. I don't need to be another. We don't need another fucking podcaster. I was saying that 20 years ago, and it's only grown since then. Like, what do y'all do with your time? Like, seriously, you want to drown out the silence? Audiobooks, 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 audiobooks. Coursera classes, fuck podcasts. Get source material. Go first primary sources only. I don't know. Coursera courses aren't primary sources. They sure are quality quaternary sources. Anyways, I don't know. I don't. I don't know. Let's see. He was definitely like an insurer denying a claim and a prosecutor arguing the legal position he knows to be false because he can't say anything about my show. He can't say anything about my intentions because he never asked a single fucking question, not one. And what intentions I told him were very genuine. I don't know. I was being sincere and genuine. It was excited puppy energy. It's not like, oh, I'm this way, not another way. It's like, look, I like certain things, but I just see them as tool. I don't look the mask thing. It's like that. Like the mask. Remember the mask thing, right? So we all take these party lines, and it's life and death. Well, so this crypto thing, they really might turn the finance everything inside out and go crypto full time. And then what are you going to do? There's a very small amount of Bitcoin left out there. I don't even have that much. It's like I don't have enough to survive if that happens. But if he wants to change the whole system to that, what's your strategy? Because not knowing anything about crypto seems like a bad strategy. Choosing to boycott it and just use some good old American dollars, like those aren't fucked up as fuck. Every dollar you've ever touched, every physical dollar bill you've ever touched, you should wash your hands. And no amount of hand washing is going to undo the fact that you touched that dollar. Morally. So, shut the fuck up about crypto. If you've spent $1 in your life, you're a hypocrite about that. For me, currency is currency. I don't care which one we use as long as I don't starve to death in the process. That's right, the bottom line. It's not the money. It's I don't want to starve to death slowly while other people are eating around me because of currency issues. That seems crazy to me. So it's not an investment, it's protection. We'll cover that a little. I might do that episode. I don't really want to. But I'm not trying to hide any truths. I don't think at any point I'm trying to hide any truths. I repeatedly tried to show them the thing. That's the last thing I showed them before they blocked me. I copy pasted the article talking about what Eggman means. Anyways, it's whatever. It's whatever. I know my truth very precisely, and I made episode after episode after episode trying to say it more. And I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not blocked from them. They're blocking me wherever they can. My arguments are that their facts are not so factual, and their argument is, nuh-uh, shut up. And later on, he resorts to being like, well, If you only asked nicer, and that's bad faith. The if you only asked if you said it nicer, we might have listened is probably one of the most bad faith sentences that I've had to endure. Not from him. It doesn't matter what he says, but like in life, I've heard that one in the past, and I don't. I definitely think less of a person who says that. I've said it too, but I've also said well, I've heard. Um, I wish you had said that nicer, but I hear what you're trying to say, and then responded further with whatever that conversation was, like the to the what you're trying to say part, like and to that point that you're trying to say, like blah blah blah, not worried about. I don't know. I'd rather cut through bullshit because we don't really have time for bullshit. Um, and for them, they can talk about anything, and then they don't even have hot takes anymore. They're kind of just saying like, "Yeah, no shit," kind of stuff. And if that's their audience and they're that far behind, then we're too far behind. It's like, then I don't know how we're going to catch up by the end of this year, because we need to catch up by the end of this year. This is not a next year thing. This is not wait till primaries. This is not wait till midterms. This is not wait till next election. If we don't do anything, there is no next election. There might not be a United fucking States. So we need to fucking get our shit together, and this is no fucking joke. So that's all I care about. I don't care if I say the message or if some more news says the message, or if the Daily Show with Jon Stewart says the message, or Last Week Tonight, or if it's just something that just gets shared on social media all day, like in memes. I don't care how the message is said. I just want people to say it. And if that's acting in bad faith, then I'm sorry.
This episode is brought to you by Real Men. Real Men, TMCR. Real men know how to garden so that they can feed their family during Teotwaki. Real men know how to sew so they can stitch wounds up mid-battle and suture it up shut. Real men know how to cook so they know exactly how to season the heart of their enemies as they chop it up and fry it, saute it, Benihana style, right in front of their tied up family members. Real men are okay with wearing dresses or any kind of outfit because clothes are arbitrary and don't mean shit about nothing. Real men can run around naked and everyone's just clapping and cheering like, yeah, good job, dude. And real men don't give a fuck about none of that, because every full moon it's just gonna rip apart anyways as they become werewolves, because real men are like, I don't know, hairy presumably, but that's like a separate stereotype. Real men don't give a fuck as long as they're handling their business like real men. They're just taking care of their shit.
Weird seeing this after you started out the month by saying that all of my trans friends weren't even human. You said that they were all fascists and that none of them had creative intent. I spent the whole month defending them. Not that you saw. Share a link to my thing. His response: Cletus, this is a really bad faith interpretation of our episode.
and I find it distasteful and inappropriate that you are claiming that we in any way said that your trans friends who use AI are inhuman fascists. I would also appreciate it if you would stop plugging your videos in the comments of every one of our posts. That is not what this platform is for, and it's not what others are here for. Thank you, Cody. Loved by 3 people. Oh my god, you finally acknowledged me. I feel so honored. Thank you for speaking to me like a human being this time. It will have a positive effect on any potential future interactions. I'm not entirely sure what this platform is for. Would you please clarify? I'm looking for an avenue by which I could provide constructive feedback. Your AI episode was made in bad faith. Your unresearched and generalized statements are harmful to the community. You were even wrong regarding Beatles trivia. You should check out Maximum Volume and Sound Pictures, a 2-part biography of Sir George Martin, causing many trans people to get bullied on their own pages. The only reason I made these videos is to call you out on it. I strongly recommend you watch them all, and try your best to ignore my rage, because I still love you guys. I feel bad for cussing you out. And I do. Your exact words in the episode were, "There is no human. There is no creative intent." Later in the episode, you say, AI is a tool for fascists. At the very end of the episode, after saying the opposite for 52 minutes, you say, in a vacuum, this is an apolitical tool, and collages are a thing. Collages are a thing. And I've seen some pretty cool abstract drawings. And it doesn't feel sincere. I don't think that most of your audience cared about that part. Also, again, the word grok has absolutely nothing to do with AI nor Elon Musk. It means empathy/wokeness. He misrepresents it at the very top of his website. It takes no effort to discover this. He says the wrong book title. Where were you guys? Lastly, I'd like to point out that I made my rebuttal to your AI episode in 1 week. If I had had more time, I would have made it shorter. That's Mark Twain, by the way. I have been keeping up with an episode per week pace since Christmas. I have an episode out tomorrow, and I'm already working on next week and the week after that. And I haven't seen your show since. These are episodes you could have done, and I'm going to do them because I can see that you aren't anywhere near the mark. I'm running circles around your whole team like it's the Indy 500. Them. Them. We are always open to constructive criticism, here and elsewhere. As you can see, people had issue with the title of this upcoming episode, and we engaged with that criticism and adjusted it. What you're doing here is not necessarily something I would describe as constructive criticism. You've isolated quotes from their original context, what they were referring to, and are framing them to be something we didn't say. You are also taking a very straightforward thing we did say and dismissing it because to you it didn't seem sincere. We unequivocally did not say that your trans friend or anybody who uses AI is an inhuman fascist. I'm sure you actually know that. I'm glad you have found an outlet to express yourself and to communicate your ideas. I find the way you are presenting them to us, naming your show after ours, your accusatory language, etc., to be what's inappropriate. For example, here you've taken this post about trans people and the detransitioning panic,
Use it to promote your video about AI while also misrepresenting our views and trying to argue about how we didn't talk enough about where Grok got its name. You are obviously free to say and do what you want, but I'd urge you to reconsider your approach. It doesn't seem that you are aware of the unintended effect your episode had on your audience, and that's why I'm using those quotes. I'm not accusing you of saying that part directly. I'm saying that your lack of fact checking and your lack of intellectual curiosity in a video that could have been made in 2023 without much change made it so that members of your audience felt empowered to attack all AI generated images indiscriminately. I'm saying that your episode erases the history of women in STEM, that you're a hypocrite and an elitist if you think that AI equals theft, that you did less than 20% of the necessary research for your episode, that you're wrong about how AI is made as though you've never touched it, to the point that I can argue both sides, pro and con, on your behalf, that you missed opportunities for problem solving. You're wrong about John Waters. You're wrong about Grok and missed opportunity to make fun of how stupid and evil Elon is. You're wrong about that damn Coca-Cola commercial. And I point out how you made cherry-picked examples. You are not open to constructive criticism. I couldn't get a real response from you until I raised hell for a month. Also, you need to apologize to Katie for calling her Egg Woman. Again, your lack of intellectual curiosity is appalling. Also, that book, Where Grok Comes From, ties all of his behaviors together. I have a separate episode specifically about that, and I put it out the day after yours. The reason I'm going off of your show is because I don't have the advantage of starting with 4 million daily visitors like Cracked does. If you don't like how I named my show, you'll really hate the contents. I need to say again, I love you guys. I have been a fan the whole time. I'm sorry for the direct name calling in each episode. I'm sorry if it hurt your feelings. I stand by my core message and I cite sources the whole way through. You can say I'm mean, but I'm not wrong. I feel bad for the meanness of it. I want to help, and I'm too angry about the world for my own good. It's not an excuse. Your claim, verbatim. You started this month by saying that all my trans friends weren't even human. You said they were all fascists and that none of them had creative intent. I did not say that. You do not have to agree with everything we say, and I would be surprised if anybody does. We are not beyond reproach, and we are not going to be 100% right on everything. But the claims you are making are unfounded, and your approach has generally been quite off-putting. Even now, you are trying to argue about AI and Grok under a video about trans people. I hope it's clear to you that this is not simply about being mean, although yes, on this platform we do encourage everybody to be respectful to each other. And yes, I do find it odd and a little uncomfortable that you are using our show as the basis for your own content and the name of your channel. I also don't think my time at Cracked justifies that or devalues the work we've done to grow both there and elsewhere. You are, of course, allowed to do this, allowed in quotation marks. That's just my opinion as the creator of this show. Again, you are free to say and do whatever you want, but we are not required to tolerate it here. If you do think our work is appalling, and you are going to continue like this, That's unfortunate, but we would be happy to refund your contribution here. It seems like there's still a lot of confusion on your end. I started in various comment sections. I paid for the hangout in December because of your Is Everybody Stupid episode. I brought you 45 ideas for ways to improve your show. You responded with, "We're not going to read that because if your episodes are like our episodes, you might sue." But, but I don't have episodes. I'm not a writer. I love you guys. Why would I sue? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I could make my own show. Wasn't really my plan or intention, but okay. Somebody has to say it. I walk through everything step by step in each video, and that's why I'm less willing to repeat myself in the comments. It's truly easier to just watch the dang things. And that's where the being mean aspect comes in. In tool time, I tear your AI video apart systematically piece by tiny piece. I cite sources and demonstrate evidence. There's very little room for doubt. There are two expected reactions to my video. Oh wow, this guy is an angry asshole. Much too angry to respect the content of his words, which is fine. I'm used to it. And, oh wow, some more news was talking out of their ass for an hour and are not to be trusted. How does it connect to the trans episodes? I described that in an earlier comment and in 2.5 of my videos. To bring the point home, do you know any trans people? Any trans people on your staff? What good is all this virtue signaling if you don't genuinely care? Why not just be yourself, whatever that might look like? Step 1. You behaved as though AI didn't involve any human input or creative intent. This is the core theme of your video, that it is lazy. Step 2. There's a section of your video discussing why conservatives, and especially fascists, love this stuff with inadequate counterbalance to it because step 3 and 0, your goal was to persuade your audience to stop using AI or to not try it in the first place. Step 1 and 4. The majority of your fans reacted to this with enthusiastic agreement. Step 5. They felt the need to express their renewed passion in the comment section of people who coincidentally happened to be trans, women, communist or anarchist, and or people of color. Step 5B, also step 6. They're also step, yeah, anyways, coming back around to the beginning. Shaming them as fascists who hate the environment. I understand that I'm uncouth. I am trying my hardest to be better, and it's an uphill battle because I simply haven't lived the way the rest of society has lived. Regarding the whole cracked thing, I'm not saying that you didn't earn what you have. I'm saying that you started with more privilege than you've been acknowledging. Bezos started young, with $150,000 from his parents. You started young, with the built-in audience of 4 million plus daily visitors. If I had either of those things, with the knowledge in my head, man, I would do more good with it than the two of you combined. Asterisk, because I know it's a lot more than two people. I knew a big chunk of what I know now back in 2013. The main difference between us is that I am/was nonverbal autistic. The concepts were in my head, but I couldn't form the sentences. Now I can. So what if I'm not charismatic? So what if I'm weird, don't fit in? I'm going to info dump with sincerity, and someone out there in the world will hear me. I'm sorry, but it should not be a surprise that weren't interested in random unsolicited lists of 45 ways to improve your show. Jonathan was very polite and reasonable in his message. I also generally find it hard to patiently engage with someone who says, "I love you guys," immediately followed by, "One of the two expected reactions to my video are that you lied for an hour and are untrustworthy." But I will. I generally disagree with your assessment of our goals with the AI episode and your interpretation of what was said. As a simple example, you seem to think that we said that AI doesn't require human input or intent. That's not what we said. We were referring to the technology itself not having creative intent or understanding of what it's making. You seem to have taken the misinterpretation as a slight against you and others who make AI art, as if we said people who use AI art are inhuman or not giving input? But maybe that's my own misinterpretation of you. I don't know. I respect your opinion that we could have gone deeper or wider in the episode, something that's probably true for many of our episodes. But I do not think this is a helpful or productive or even accurate way to go about communicating that. I also find it distasteful and wrong-headed that the fact that people are apparently left negative comments on AI art that happen to be created by trans or queer people or POC, etc., and turn around that in some way our fault, and that I said your words, that your trans friends are inhuman fascists. That is unreasonable. I'm very happy you've overcome your speech obstacles and are confident and able to express yourself. That's really great. I don't have any interest in relitigating how I got my job at Cracked, or what I did though. But your response seems pretty skewed, and also kind of misses my original point. So, oh well. I don't want to continue this as an ongoing dialogue, because I don't think it is productive. And again, it's all taking place on an unrelated video. I think we made our position clear in a very respectful manner. But perhaps more importantly to you and your other point, and hopefully this may help you realize that being unnecessarily accusatory and aggressive. I have many trans friends, and a trans woman wrote this episode. Oh, but that is comforting to hear. Have a good day. And then a link to the Beatles song that talks about where Eggman comes from. I have come back and to say a couple points because I'm foolish and I cannot help myself. Number one, loving somebody and finding them untrustworthy are not mutually exclusive concepts. I can love you, want to help you, and also be disappointed in your behavior. That's what makes betrayals hurt so bad. Some of my anger comes from grief and disappointment because I expect a whole lot more from you. You tell your audience you love them at the end of each ENM, and you automatically assume each of your audience members are trustworthy? Of course not, and I wouldn't expect you to. Number two, no, or you wouldn't have reacted to unsolicited pitches in that way. But they're not unsolicited. You looked into a camera and said to the general public, "Are we stupid? Are we in a bubble? Did we miss something?" I understand that you don't consider that a solicitation. I want you to understand why I might hear it as a call to action. My paper was unnumbered, and the title of it was Some More News Episodes That I Want to See. I know that there are 45 items because I went through and counted after the fact. I knew you were going to do an AI episode as soon as you got off of break because the very first thing on my list was Elon doesn't grok. My hypothesis is that you, I had guessed it was Jonathan Harris based on the writing style, so you in a generalized sense because I wasn't certain. My hypothesis was that the link was clicked. You saw the top item and panicked. Be it from correlation or causation, your first episode of the year is congruent with my hypothesis. The mission statement at the bottom of that list said that we, royal we, the part of the community who chooses to resist fascism, we must turn everything they throw at us into our advantage in any way that we possibly can. The way out is through. They are too big to fight, too big to walk around. We turn their own swords backward and cut directly through them. I said it in a glowing and positive way in the doc. Nowadays, I'm feeling too better for that. My plan involves psychological fortitude, financial education, empathy, awareness, resilience, communal permaculture, and anarchist computer science. 21st century breadbasket, most of our cities into gerrymandered districts. Sweet talk venture capitalists out of billions and spend it on improving the world. I'm telling you this because you're not going to do it, even after I give away the plan. So, here are the episodes I'd like to see. We already did Elon Doesn't Grok. Man, so Jordan Peterson's reading list on his website is comedy gold. It is mostly just the wokest books of the wokest books. Like, it's like how everyone seems to be saying that they're mad that Star Wars is woke now. It's like they're like rooting for the Imperium and like how does it happen? So yeah. Uh, so Jordan Peterson doesn't grok. His reading list is magnificent. I'm really sad that they don't want to look. They don't want to. They want to spend like 3 hours about on a 3 hour episode on Jordan Peterson, but they don't want to scroll lightly through his reading list and then talk about how woke it is, so that we can read those books and then understand them well enough to combat him, argue against his rhetoric. Like, I mean, I guess we already are, but we're not reaching people on that same level, right? So if we wanted to be the Jordan Peterson of the left, we'd read those books, those same books that are definitely woke. Carl Jung is a woke-ass motherfucker. He was talking about stuff like yoga and meditation before yoga and meditation. So, anyway, and the Island, Huxley's Island, we all need to read that and listen carefully to his message, because we're right there. We're at the end of the book, but we're also in Island Book 2, which I wouldn't mind writing, but I'm also like, no one should ever write a sequel to that book. So it's, it's hard to choose. It's hard to choose. Do I feed my ego / curiosity and maybe make a new point, or do I feed my ego / laziness and indulge in principles? Are they my principles? Do I know that for sure? We were talking about my reading list. So, yeah, I really wanted to do that as a separate episode, but I also don't give a fuck. So, billionaires from the 1800s versus billionaires from now. I do, in fact, give a fuck about this, but I don't think I have enough fuck to. I mean, I'm going to be reading these books anyways. I might do that episode. Like I was thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this, but if I do, that's one I would like to do. because there's definitely a change. There's a difference between billionaires in 1850 to 1910 to billionaires in the middle of the 20th century to now. Big, big swings of change where it's like uh, the Gilded Age and whatnot, outright criminal. But in that same time, like we all benefit from railroads all the time, every day, and they could be state run, but also look how the state runs things, um, and look what happens when you vote the wrong person into office. So it's not going to be. I don't know. I like certain aspects of BNSF right now, except for all the crashes and fucked up shit that they do for no reason. Where was I? Okay, so Microsoft and their AI strategy are tied to the way they handled BASIC in the 1970s. That's like a clip. I could probably just say that into the camera. Hey, audience. The way that Microsoft is trying to regulate AI right now, and they do want regulation. They want it their way. Okay? Hello, audience. So they did the same fucking shit that they're doing now in the 70s. You know, BASIC wasn't his. All right. Anyways, moving on. A real crypto episode. A real crypto episode would be so nice where we actually just talk about it like it's just a thing that exists and not any sort of political ties to it, but just to talk about the thing because it exists and it's interesting. It's a very interesting thing. There's all these people talking and a lot of them don't know, and I would say that that is bad acting. That's acting in bad faith. When you don't know something and you're talking about it like you have an opinion, I just can't really respect that. It's like, fucking study that shit. It's fascinating. It's not a scam. Like, which part? Look, blockchain is a ledger. It's a public ledger, so everyone can see every transaction all the time. A scam? Which part? The human beings who know about it, who are going to use it first. Because y'all are slow to the shit. If a righteous person got in there and was creative enough, we'd see what real shit would happen. And I'm dying to jump in. I don't know how righteous or creative I am, but I want to do better than this. I like the technology and I want to see it better than this. It's bad. This is not the way. So, Elon doesn't doge. Here's a little, I could do this in both a full-length episode or right here, right now. Elon doesn't doge. Elon doesn't have any real money in Dogecoin. There's barely any fucking evidence of that. They keep talking about this whale, but that whale is behaving like a normal fucking investor, not some fucking Adderall mother. If Elon was doging, he wouldn't need to loot the government. He wouldn't need to go through all this rigmarole. That wouldn't be necessary at all. It's so much work. It's so much public work. Public work. It's untenable. Look, it's not sustainable. If you were into Bitcoin, and if you were really into crypto, especially Doge, first and foremost, somewhere on some exchange somewhere, you can take all these coins and trade them for each other. That was even true back then. It was just really, really hard. But if you were really into Doge in, let's say, 2017, like I was before Robinhood, like right before, but like right there. I was already into this shit. Now, I'm not sitting here saying I made a whole bunch of money from it because I'm still a broke ass motherfucker. But like, I, I paid rent. I paid rent with crypto a couple months. Like that's how I got. That's how I spent it. Like, but yeah. So what was I talking about? Oh, Elon doesn't doge. Elon doesn't. Elon. I read an article a few days before. Let's just do it. Let's just real quick. Let's just say the whole. I don't want to waste. Like people don't care. If you watch this episode, then you get it. You get the benefit of this knowledge. Elon Musk does not use Dogecoin. He's using the name because it's a meme, and so latching onto the meme of the meme coin gets him everything that he's getting. But if he actually gave a fuck about Dogecoin, he could do a whole lot of shit on the slick and the sly without anyone being involved and anyone being the wiser, and he wouldn't have to be so dang greedy. He could put his own $1 billion into Bitcoin and just let it sit there. Just sit there. And it would move so much. I think that whale is probably Mark Cuban. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's my hunch. I mean, it could be just a random. It just could be whoever invested first kept investing a few times, every week or every couple of days or whatever from 2014ish until now because it's still 5 cents. I mean, fuck it. And then you can farm it, you can lease it. There's so okay, so there, it's a whole separate episode. There's so much stuff that you can do to make money from not money that has nothing to do with scamming people. It's all like banking shit. So if you're aware of how the financial market works in real life, then you can do it in Web3. And you can transfer from United States currency to Web3 currency. Now remember that Web3 currency is its own separate country. And Bitcoin is doing a whole lot better economically than the dollar. It's like the Bitcoin strength compared to the dollar is the dollar's strength compared to Ecuador in like 1997. So, anyways, what was I saying? We're working on this list. Let's just get through it. A real crypto episode would be great. People need to understand it's a tool. We need to get rid of the banks. It doesn't have to be like this, and what they're looking at and what we can do are two separate things. So, the 2008 collapse totally ties into how Bitcoin was made. The environmental impact of Tesla's gigafactories. I'm sure they'll do that episode or something. I would have loved to be helpful with that, but whatever. I'm not worth listening to. I have nothing to say. I'm insignificant. Hey, so what do all these government agencies actually do? Hey, I wrote this in December of last year. Can I just say, told you fucking so? I told y'all so. I'm fucking smarter than them. Fuck you. So, there's 11 people on their team, and I'm killing it. What do these government agencies actually do? I wrote this. Look at my edits. Look at my version edits. Look at that. I haven't edited it since December 16th. You're just looking at it rough and rugged and raw. And yeah, I got rid of the mission statement because fuck it. Okay, where was I? What are rights? Who grants them? Who enforces them? Uh, Rights are a legal fiction granted by the government, enforced by the police. Okay. Regenerative farming. Uh, we need to talk about that a lot. I need to do an episode about that. The history of it, how to do it, why, right? Which I don't actually know the history of it as well. I only know the Bill Mollison, David Holmgren part of it, but it's really about indigenous cultures. I don't have adequate knowledge of that. I'm like 6 books away, question mark. I'd have to spend a couple months just immersed in the topic to understand it, because I'm that far away. So, um, okay. So, community projects to be a part of could probably be its own separate episode. I could probably spend 45 minutes to an hour or longer. But, like, episode length time. Just be like, here's a community project, here's why it's important. Here's a community project, here's why it's important. Here's a community project, here's why it's important. And I kind of sort of covered this in the mental health and cream episodes on purpose. The capitalistic way of approaching it. That's an episode. If I do permaculture, that might be the only episode I do. Um, how Americans using regenerative farming affects indigenous populations. Now, if that's not a slam fucking dunk 3-pointer freaking episode for the Some More News team, I really don't know what is. And I would love to help with that or find someone to help with that. Like I would love to just be part of that process, and it makes me sad. I'm so sad and frustrated that they won't fucking listen to their own. Are we in a bubble? I'm furious, and I'm gonna stay furious, but it's fine because I don't have to watch their stupid fucking show anymore. I got other shit to do. Black-owned businesses. Minimum 10 minutes talking about the real MLK. Boom, boom, boom. Didn't do the Harlem Renaissance. That's all right. I mean, we didn't do we did not do the Harlem Renaissance. Development / future. Gosh, I think we did it. I wouldn't say I did a good job, but I have completed the job. I got a solid, I don't know. I'll give myself a C-. I'll give myself a C-. I didn't do a perfect job, but gosh, I covered that black-owned businesses section right there. I did it. Rainbow Family Gatherings and how Jogan used Tool and DMT to tap into that demographic. Black Sheep Gatherings start this week. That was on the 16th. For all you investigative journalists out there, I was encouraging them to go out and actually, witness firsthand, be a firsthand account of the experience, but they weren't even going to listen to me speak, so there's no hope of that. There's going to be nationals. Nationals going to be a hell of a time this year. I don't know how that's going to happen. But, alrighty then. July, nationals. Keep an ear out for rainbow gatherings. Okay. But yeah, so Joe Rogan was plugged into the festival kids, most likely. There's overlap between the people who watch Joe Rogan and the people who are out in the wilderness doing a bunch of ketamine / psychedelics of a wide variety of natures / Nick at Night! Nick at Night! Anyways, I might skip that one. I don't care. Y'all, fuck you. if if you want me to do this episode, you better comment about it, or else, or else say, continue to say nothing. Yes, CPTSD/nonviolent communication, MOOCs. Uh, we did some of that. Yes, good. Yay. So we did some of that. Um, okay. Tech and development. Because I don't know if y'all noticed this, but Cody is like a hardcore neo-Luddite. He is very much anti-technology um, in most sense of the word. And, except I don't think he could live without his phone. I don't think he could live without social media. So that's tech and development. The Hunt family is tied to the Kennedy assassination. I have a lot of documents that I've found that uh, are interesting. They're not conclusive, but they're interesting. He's definitely tied to Malcolm X, and I covered that last week. Um, Nathan Bunker Hunt and his brothers. See, I want to do this whole episode, and I might still do this. It's going to be called uh, alpaca, alpaca hunting with the Kansas City Chiefs, because um, Lamar Hunt started the Kansas City Chiefs, which led to the AFC versus NFC. That's how we got Super Bowls to begin with. Um, so the Hunt family is definitely relevant today. Uh, Nathaniel Bunker Hunt did this whole shady thing with hoarding silver for arbitrage, and it blew up in his face, and then a lot of people lost money, and he sued, but his family's still billionaires. And interesting that his granddaughter, the granddaughters, I guess the great granddaughters or the great great granddaughters. Anyways, the current generation is doing trying to make up for all the damage caused, but the damage is extraordinary because it's also tied to Israel. The Hunt family uncovered uncovered all this oil in Saudi Arabia, and basically the whole mess in the Middle East is tied to this shit. It's like this one fucking family is so fucking toxic. It is extraordinary, and it's caused intricate layers of damage all over the world, and for a century, and getting worse. The damage is malignant. So, um, how Trump's behavior is connected to social media influencer culture slash ACN. Um, Fun little short story. I was part of a multi-level marketing scam called American Communications Network in 2008. Um, I was just turning 18, didn't know what to do with my life, very vulnerable to these kinds of attacks at the time. And um, he was the spokesperson. And all he really does his whole career is trade on his name. Like this whole time, he built a cult of personality off of his last name. So not even like his name, but like the family name. It doesn't really matter. Radical ways to help, mental health reform, collectivism, not relying on elections for reform. I did a lot of that. I covered that real good. Uh, I covered that real good. I'm proud of myself. Uh, So, yeah. Um, Radical ways to help. Mental health reform. Uh, I really hate the way that Cody talks about mental health on his show. It's quite insidious because he mostly doesn't talk about mental health, and then he'll use, oh, they're crazy, they're mentally ill, as like ways of describing Republicans, which is fair, but also like I'm not a Republican and I am mentally ill, and my suffering under the mental health system has is complex. Absolutely has to do with Reagan, but Clinton's policies did just as much damage. And yeah, things changed very slowly. It was a shock when I first met someone who was like part of the New Order. I was like, what? They teach shit from like now because it used like in the 90s we were still dealing with medical advice from like the 50s, and it was nasty. And I don't want to go back to that. Thank you very much. Things were not historically good for mentally ill people either. Um, Stuff that other countries do right. I didn't really talk about that, and I don't really care. I mean, I would love to go to those other countries in theory, but then the thought of being on a boat or an airplane makes me upset. So uh, I'll have to work on that before I travel places and do things. Democratic socialism. What is it, and how can it benefit you? And you know, Cody Shody does cover that sometimes. They get into it. It's worth something. Um, I just, well, I would love to see an episode where it was just like straight up bullet points, where it's just like, this is what it really is. This is where it comes from, how it works. You know what? Fuck where it comes from. This is where it is now, and here's how it's working for people in Europe right now. I think that would be a great way to go. Uh, Yet another YouTube video discussing how all popular music is tied to racist German philosophers from 200 years ago. So I have strong philosophical beliefs that I developed on my own from reading books and taking classes, like classes from colleges and shit, and reading books that I just follow paths. I think critically, and I'm very choosy with what I read and why, because life is short and time is precious. I do find that I read a lot of books that are just saying the same thing, and I try to find the source material. If I'm just gonna, you know, all these other books are just distilling that and adding their own thoughts to the matter. Anyway, so uh, here is a summary of my philosophical beliefs. Uh, Yet another YouTube video discussing how all popular music is tied to racist German philosophers from 200 years ago. So here's why it's relevant. My philosophical beliefs, in short, are we've all been creating music in a very specific way based on that since then. And all of our music is tuned a specific way. And so sonically, we've all been under a certain kind of tyranny for that whole time. Uh, it's a subtle, sort of everywhere oppression. Every song we're ever going to hear is going to always have these 12 notes, even though they don't have to. And uh, I find that offensive, and I wanted to break free from that. And I still find that there's some sort of tyranny being uh, stuck with frequency. It's like, oh man, I only have 20,000 frequencies to work with. whatever shall I do? Um, but that's the kind of thing I would like to think about instead of making these videos. Um, I would like to go back to I would like to go back to my musical musings um, and creations. I made one yesterday. I'm proud of myself. It's about time. It's been like 3 months since I made a song, so that felt good. It's a shitty little whatever, but I like it. It brings me joy. A deep historical conversation about racism in the Democratic Party, populism tied to racism going back to William Bryant. The William Bryant thing and the H.L. Hunt thing come from the same book, The Story of Silver. Forget who wrote it, but The Story of Silver, good book. Um, Interesting. I didn't, I just grabbed it randomly and I only read it because I was just like, this seems like a good book to ignore, but I couldn't because it was interesting. It kind of just grabbed a hold of me. Uh, yeah. So The Story of Silver is a good book. And I also read Old Money and around the same time, and there's a lot of okay, so they're not talking about the exact same things, but there's a lot of overlap in concept. It, you read those two books together, you're going to get a very full picture of what's happening in society right now. So Old Money, Story of Silver, recommended. Harvard's investment portfolio. Basically, if Harvard's investing in it, then we as society, if you care about Palestine, we should divest from all those products. The Harvard investment portfolio, specifically. Um, Now, speaking of that, I personally believe that Israel as a state has the right to exist. I don't like what they're doing now. I don't like Netanyahu. I'd say that I never did, but I guess I didn't know or care. And then once I knew and or cared, I decided I don't like it. I don't like him. I don't like what he's doing. I denounce Netanyahu. I still want to do this episode, but I'll tell you what it's about right now. Like, basically, I'm going to talk about The Anatomy of Peace, which is a real book, but it's not about real events. I'm going to talk about The Case for Israel, which is a real book. It's by Ellen Dershowitz, known rapist and Trump supporter. Um, and then I would do what it would take for a two-party solution. And I think really we're destined for failure. If you want to know my full opinion about the situation in Israel, is that Israelis and Palestinians are both pieces on a chessboard, and the players are Saudi Arabia and the United States. Um, they are having a friendly game with each other, and they don't care what happens to the pieces on the board. So if you care what happens to you, you should probably stop behaving like a piece on someone else's chessboard. Stop picking sides and focus solely on a two-state solution. By picking sides, you are playing into this because the Saudi Arabian government and the United States government are about to make a fuck ton of money off of a war that no one fucking wants. And what the end result is that Israel is going to get nuked into oblivion because that's what the Book of Revelation says. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me out there in the fucking world? Because I really don't want to have to do the whole episode about it. Okay. I wanted to do a thing about Herbert Hoover. I think we should talk about Grover Cleveland and Herbert Hoover and the Roosevelt family. That goes back to the Old Money. There's overlaps between what he's doing. He's definitely following the Hitler playbook in the 30s. But there's a whole lot of overlaps with the Gilded Age, which people are coming into awareness of, And speaking of the 30s and our side of things, there's a whole lot of overlap here about a recession. The crazy thing is that we had a recession because of a world war, and now we're trying to cause a recession to cause a world war. I don't. It seems bad. There's a better way to structure an economy than either fascism or socialism, and we're only at the horizon of what that might be. It doesn't even have a name yet. It's, an evolution beyond socialism that we're all not all of us, but people are thinking about it. It's just not quite coalesced into a subject yet, and I'm concerned about how it might turn out. We also have a lot of overlaps with Roman history, and I would probably do that as one episode where I talk about Nero and Caligula, like Caesar right now, and how they went from republic to a king. Like, we don't want to. Do we really need to repeat all of this history right now, or could we just learn a fucking lesson and move on with our lives? And that goes for the Israeli thing too, because I gotta do a little bit. I gotta do a little bit. I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't care. It's my last episode. It's my last day on the job. I quit. Fuck you guys. No, but no. Um, the people who live, the people who lived, no, no. Okay, so first of all, Jews came from Ur. Ur is in Iraq. It's in southern Iraq. It's deep in Iraq. All right. When we came out of Babylon, my reggae folks, are you listening? When we came out of Babylon to go to Zion, we were leaving the Middle East. We were leaving Iraq to go to Israel. And then we kept traveling because we didn't know what to do or where to go. We kept going. There's people were already there. Well, we kept trying. And then we hit a roadblock in Egypt. I mean, some of this is real. I mean, we know it's true. Like, the temple is still fucking there. And they just built, Muslims just built theirs on top, and we didn't blow it up, which we are still not blowing it up. That's kind of extraordinary. Anyways, I mean, I don't know. I should have knocked on wood before I said that, because shit can change in a hurry. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's all a bunch of history repeating. And if we want to learn from our mistakes, then we will A, not subjugate people, and B, not attack people. And that goes for left and right, and Israel and Palestine, the, what was it, the global north and global south. It goes for everything. I wish that there was peace in the Middle East. I mean, I'm not going to be living there, so I guess I don't have to worry about it. It seems to be affecting my day-to-day life anyways, even though I'm 10,000 miles away, and I hardly ever talk to my fucking family over there. I hope they're okay. Where was I? I just realized I was recording something. Get it simultaneous. Get it simultaneous. Oh, I'm tired. Okay. So I want to do a rundown of private equity firms, like people think that they're buying products from here or there or wherever, but they don't realize it's private equity because it's like hidden in the background. So doing one of those would be, I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not going to bother, but doing one of those would have been interesting. I would love to hear. I would have loved to hear some more news do that one. Um, you know, where they kind of sneer at private equity firms. It seems like more of their thing. This link right here, that's testimony concerning a sickness by William S. Burroughs. It's one of the most important documents in the history of America, and you need to read it immediately. The history of censorship in America, it's been around a long time. It kept getting worse and worse and worse. Seems to be. Is AI here to stay? What can we do about it? I think I fucking covered that well. Yes, wow. Dumb. um, okay, so individual episodes. So Y Combinator, I don't know why Cody never mentions Y Combinator. It's probably because he's a neo-Luddite who doesn't know fucking shit about technology, so he's not up on these things. And none of his staff really give a fuck either, so they're all just weak little pussy-ass bitches. And I don't like them. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, so Monsanto owns everything. Y Combinator owns everything. Y Combinator is Uber and Airbnb. The enshittification is all Y Combinator. Not only that, but I did cover that Eric Ries has the long-term stock exchange. Eric Ries is the one who uh, Lean Startup. He wrote the Lean Startup. It's basically our version, the U.S. version of Six Sigma and all that stuff, and culturally appropriated Six Sigma. And he's one of the people who popularized. I'm not saying that he coined, but he did popularize. He one of the biggest books of the time. Move fast and break things. So Y Combinator is super relevant. And then Disney owns everything. We know that. So big conglomerates own everything. If this was one episode, you could do maybe 40-minute segments of each one of those and just like speed through it. If I was them, I would do a 2-hour episode, and that's how I would do it. Maybe like 2 hours and 12 minutes with you know bits with the opening and closing, whatever. Enron, the smartest guys in the room. It's a great documentary. I got exposed to a lot of Enron books, and I was very politically active and politically minded as a teenager. So I went through a phase where I just like was exposed to all this shit. Enron was happening all around me. The fall of Enron was happening. There's all these books about it, and I just got them on sale and got them as gifts. And you know, Russian Times has a network, and like DJ Vlad is all up in that shit, and like you don't hear Cody Johnstone talking about Russia Today, like barely ever. He doesn't really mention RT Times as a thing. Maybe he has in recent episodes, but like whatever. Innovations in recycling technology. Now, we need innovations in recycling technology, and I've touched on it a couple of times. We need, like, listen, in the 90s, people, and me as like as a fifth grader, I mean, people were saying, like, if whoever does electric cars right is going to be a billionaire. Boom. What's his fuck is now the richest guy, man. I don't call him man, richest guy in the world, right? So this is important, right? It happened. It went down like that. So there. Um, now, hear me when I say this. That the next person, the person who does recycling for real, is going to be the true hero or villain. It could be a wealthy individual who controls all the plastic and all the recycled materials in the world could be a monopoly because it's a fucking patent. You could lock it down for 17 years. It's insane how much that people would be putting in money and you'd be paying them pennies on the dollar like you do, like we do now. And then you actually recycle it and then you sell the fresh materials for dollars on the dollar. You're the only one who can do it for 17 years. I don't see how this is going to fail as a business. I do see how it would cost $1 billion or more to get started because I would, if I was doing it, I would hire a team and I would just hire, like, I mean, 1,000 scientists or some shit. And I mean, just all across the spectrum. I'd be hiring geologists and electricians, everybody. A little bit of everybody who's serious about climate change, who's serious about recycling. Do you care about recycling? Yes or no? You're hired. I mean, not like that, but like you have other qualifications. There'd be a vetting process. That's not what I'm talking. This is supposed to be a shorter episode. God damn it! I don't need to tell you my whole plan, but the whole point is that if I was going to do it, I'd get like 1,000 scientists together. I just throw money at it, and whatever ideas that we get together, it would be the company has the patent and they have the patent. There's no reason to fuck them over. We can have a 50-50 split on each patent. And this organization would just be churning out patents until something happens. And the number one focus is recycling, but if invent anything, I don't care. it's it's all cash, it's all revenue to me, and it's about raising scientists up so they figure it out, they get their name on the patent. Like most producers of most film producers or whatever, I'd get a 10% thing. I think that's awesome. It's like, I would love to be that kind of person, uh, and I would love to just as much technology, like useful technology. But alas, in real life, and this could be an episode all itself, and I almost want to do it, but I don't care enough to really do it. Um, and I don't think it's really a some more news episode topic. So pyrolysis, some stupid fuck in a laboratory straight up said, "Hey, what if we use this plastic as fuel? Let's just burn these fossil fuels. Will that help the environment?" So, pyrolysis, what the fuck? But I don't even get to talk to them like human beings. I hurt. My soul hurts from trying to interact with them. Because they're just fucking vapid. I have no respect for those pieces of shit. Um, Vote Jello Biafra 2028. It probably wouldn't be a serious episode, but it would be a fun episode. And sometimes you need fun episodes. In the Hangout, they recommended the D&D episode. That's a good episode. Electric car companies other than Tesla. Google that shit. There's a lot of them. I'm a big fan of Rivian. I have stock in Rivian. I got stock in Lucid. First Hydrogen. I'm very excited about First Hydrogen. And then Toyota. Toyota is killer, dude. So Toyota makes 26 cars per employee per year. And Tesla only makes 10 cars per employee per year. And their stock, Tesla stock, is like 20 times higher So it's ridiculously overvalued. Like they don't even have, like they have the gigafactories, but Toyota's output on their smaller factories is almost par with those six, and they've got at least, I don't remember, let's say 15. It's a big difference between how many Tesla has and how many, and again, Toyota stock is like, I don't know, I don't know what the price is today, but Toyota stock is like a 7 PE ratio, and Tesla stock was, before all this, it was at 140 or more. So yeah, fuck that. Um, Spotlight on communist philosophers. By golly, I did that. Dead internet theory. I touched on that in the AI episode. Um, if you can profit off of a bot, do it. Because survival is hard. Do what you gotta do. As Cody mentioned in the Google Hangout, it is part of the mission of the right to keep people poor and uneducated. Therefore, it is our responsibility on the left to provide countermeasures against this. Few things are more threatening to these ghouls than honest competition, e.g. Bernie would have won. We need to empower the people intellectually, psychologically, financially, agriculturally, and hopefully, as a result of general upliftments, they can be emboldened spiritually as well. We need to teach the right about empathy. I believe the root of this is with apolitical episodes about mental health, boom, 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 and sustainability, which maybe I'll do it and probably won't. Once certain people can see within themselves, they'll have an easier time seeing themselves in others. That's theory of mind, which I totally touched on. Weakening the power of right-wing grifters. Wokeness is a genuine threat to them for this reason. I was going to add to that. What was I going to say here? Oh, so that's what's up with the churches. We go into the churches and we pray and we do community service and we help people and we don't talk about politics. We don't engage in conversations about politics. We just stay friendly. And we love them through it, out of it. All right. Wow, 51 minutes. I mean, it's going to be all cut up and whatever, so yeah, it's going to be different by the time you see this part. That's my story. No, I don't know. It's stupid. It's stupid, and I really can't respect them after that. And I hope you don't either. I don't know. They must be doing something right. They gained 110,000 listeners, subscribers on their YouTube channel. And I do have to do that stuff still. I have to market these shows, and then maybe I'll get some traction and come back and do more. But it's whatever. I gotta do other stuff. I gotta focus my energy elsewhere. If I was gonna do stuff just for fun, like editing and stuff, I'd rather edit sound clips, samples. If I'm gonna be doing special effects and stuff, I'd rather be doing special effects on music, do funky sound effects. I'd just rather do that. I'd rather, if I was gonna do just hobby stuff, then I can make a song in a couple hours. This took the field and house and field episode took 2 weeks, but I was prepping for it all January and most of February until all February too. Like looking for clips and stuff because I knew the episode was coming. I knew I wasn't ready for it, and that's why I don't want to do the Israel episode because I still haven't read. I haven't finished a single book out of that. I wanted to read the Quran. That's super important to me. There's this author, Sorry, this is during the boycott. I'm only logging into Audible long enough to remember the author's name because I can't remember the author's name. I'm not going to listen to any books this whole week, but I'm not quitting Audible just yet. We need a vile opportunity. Oh, Rashid Khalidi. Rashid Khalidi is cool as fuck. Um, I definitely um, appreciate his insight, and I think that whether he agrees with himself or not, I think his books might be the path towards a two-state solution. Um, but I don't know. I downloaded the wrong book. I bought it too. I thought I was like, yes, it was definitely this one, but I was like, no, wait. I mean, it's still good and relevant and interesting, so it's not wrong. It's not wrong, but you get what I'm saying. It's just like it's not the book I intended to buy, so I still have to buy it again. Just to get, I'd have to buy that one and read that one also because again, this book is relevant. It's all about how the United States is involved, their involvement. But I want to hear the Palestinian on the ground living as a Palestinian is the perspective I really needed before I spoke my truth to the public um, in a feature-length episode. But I strongly believe that we need peace and we need to focus on peace. They need to pressure. I mean, we could just hang Netanyahu. We could just like drag him with a noose around his neck through the street until he's bloody. Like I don't see any problem with that. Netanyahu has to go. Like anyone associated with him out. If Trump's got a problem with that, then he can get it too. Fuck it. Um, but I'm not going to give up the whole country. We just got to handle everything differently. I don't know. I don't know if anyone is ever gonna. I don't know how we could all move past this because it's so horrible. Um, I, don't know. I shouldn't even be talking about it. It's all fucked up. It's not Israeli colonialism. It's U.S. colonialism, and we need to say that loudly. Uh, I think it would help reframe the entire issue. But I just can't watch the show anymore. It doesn't matter. I mean, not that I'm not allowed to. It's not like they could stop me if I wanted to watch the show. It's that I can't hear his voice without cringing. So I can't see his face without being like, ew, Cody. And I sure as fuck don't want to hear another fucking second of Warmbo. Um, so I guess I'll never know. It was funny as fuck that like they had the whitest Black History Month ever. I don't know what they're talking about in the episodes because again, I've only seen the AI episode this entire year. But yeah, like whatever. um, this was fun. I got a lot of practice. I feel very confident as a video editor now. Moving forward, I want to look into some software development and possibly robotics. I don't know. I want to look into finance and marketing and manufacturing and logistics. Um, that whole song and dance. I'm not entirely looking forward to it, but I am curious and interested. So hopefully hope that lasts. No, no. I want to do some other shit. I need to get a job, or I'm going to die. I'm barely hanging on. I'm barely hanging on. I'll be lucky. I'll be lucky if I make it. Um, and probation's almost over. I'm trying to get my records cleaned up, expunged, so that I can get a better job. I'm just stressed out. I would love to start my own business or do something cool. And I got a few ideas. That's why I want to do software development. See what I can do online. Because at least that's just me typing. Like if I'm going to be unemployed and on the computer all day, then instead of editing these videos, which I feel are self-indulgent, it's exactly my complaint about them. Um, I need to do something real. I don't know, volunteer work. If I'm not, if I can't get hired, I need to at least be busy, and I need to feel useful in society. Um, these videos are fun, so the few of you who did listen, I appreciate you. Thank you for listening.